Is a former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. He joins us now live from Washington, D.C. So, John, we've just heard from Marco Rubio, who said they've made substantial progress on the 28-point plan. Do we have any sense of what happens next? Is this deadline of Thursday actually possible?
Well, I think that's highly, highly unlikely. Rubio signaled this last Thursday in a statement. President Trump signaled this just yesterday afternoon or early or morning, Washington time, in a statement. And Rubio again said, we've made real progress, but we need time to get this done. So I think it's highly likely that the Thanksgiving deadline is going to slip.
Well, despite the deadline, this still all has to go through Moscow. Whatever the agreement is over the next few days between the Americans and Europeans, there's no guarantee the Russians will agree, right? How will the Kremlin react?
Well, look, the draft that is in discussion, from what we know publicly, is extremely friendly to the Kremlin. Trump offered a deal several times, which was, I would say, reasonable towards both Ukraine and towards Russia, and the Russians rejected each one of those efforts. This one is clearly friendlier towards Moscow, but I suspect the Kremlin is very happy that the current draft is much friendlier to them than the previous ones. But they will ask for more because they see this current draft as a sign that the West is not quite as strong in backing Ukraine as it used to be. So I have little doubt that there's been progress made, more time will be needed, and Moscow is going to ask for additional concessions because they're not seeing, again, as strong a support for Ukraine as we've seen in the past.
As you say, it's friendlier to Russia, but it's such a delicate moment for Ukraine. If this ceasefire is going to be achieved through Trump's plan, Zelensky will have to give up land. How much will this weaken their position? And ultimately, is it fair to award the aggressor with territory?
Look, let's be clear. Trump from the beginning was talking about a durable peace. It was never a just peace because Trump's idea never included the return of occupied Ukrainian land to Ukrainian control. And that's not wonderful from a Ukrainian point of view, but it's okay. And in fact, it would suit American interests to end the war in a way that guaranteed Ukraine survived as an independent, secure state. But now the notion of giving land which Moscow has been unable to conquer in nearly 4 years since the big invasion began is actually a very bad idea. And I'm not sure it's going to survive the negotiations. So Ukraine, and Zelensky's already signaled multiple times, he was willing to accept the original Trump idea of conceding on a de facto basis Russian-occupied Ukrainian territory. But Russia was not satisfied with that. And this plan, which I say is much friendlier to the Kremlin than previous plans, reflects that. And I'm not sure that's a good thing.
Well, as you say, if this plan doesn't survive the negotiations, what does it mean for the ceasefire going forward?
Well, I don't think Trump wants a ceasefire. That's why he rejected every proposal Trump has put on the table for the past 6 or 7 months. He wants to continue taking more Ukrainian land. He wants to have effective political control of the country. He wants control of the entire Black Sea coast of Ukraine, as well as the major cities on the Dnipro River, most importantly, Kyiv and Odessa. So this is what Putin wants, which is why he's rejected the previous proposals. I suspect that if Ukraine were to accept everything in this draft, which I think it would be actually suicidal, so that's not going to happen, Moscow would still demand more.
Yes, we'll have to see how this pans out over the next few days. John Herbst, live from Washington. Thanks.